come to give you another teaching. The last one was on prayer. This one's on pride. If you're not in the place of prayer, then you can easily be in the place of pride. Scripture often warns us about pride, being impressed with ourselves, finding with ourselves what too much satisfaction in our achievements, what we've done, thinking we are wise enough without God. These forms of self-deception ignore that we are dust and yet made in the images of the Holy God. While humility recognizes our deep need for Christ, pride says, I can do it my own way. Humility looks to serve others out of love for Christ. Pride searches for what serves us. These promises that I'm going to quote to you offer hope for the humble and warnings to the proud. Let's be people who are more impressed with works of our God than the works of our hands. You know, if somebody comes to you and says to you, I'm humble, you know really they're proud. A church said, we're going to give this badge to this man because he's humble. The next week he came to church and he wore the badge, I am humble. They took it off him because he acted in pride in putting it on. If someone comes to you and says, I don't want your money, you know they really do. So usually when somebody says something to you, it's the opposite, because why would they be thinking that? So let's look at some scriptures now. I'm going to read them to you, and you can make a note of them and read them yourself when you're on your own. Psalm 119 and verse 21. You rebuke the arrogant. Those who wander from your commands are cursed. Proverbs 3:7. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom. Instead, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Important advice. Proverbs 3, verse 34. The Lord mocks the mockers, but is gracious to the humble. Proverbs 16 and verse 18. Pride goes before destruction, and haughtiness before a fall. Are you always trying to win an argument? Don't do it. I'll give you an example. 25 years ago I was at work, and this young man who was a bully, bullied everybody at work, started to try bullying me, criticising the church and Christians. I decided not to argue with him. I'm very good at arguing, but I thought the rest of the people think I'm a religious nutcase, so I'd keep my mouth shut. Then later on in the afternoon, we're going up the stairs and, oh, my back, oh, my back, oh, I got pain in my back. Oh, what's up? You got pain in your back? He said, yeah. Would you like me to pray for you? He said, yes. I prayed for his back. Immediately, the pain left. Oh, can I give you some money? Oh, I'll have to come to your church. Now, this guy used to bully everybody, and the manager couldn't understand why he never bullied me, because the Lord used me to heal his back. And I know that if I'd argued with him, I would have lost him, because he'd have been upset with me and he wouldn't have wanted me to pray for him. So by keeping quiet and staying humble, the Lord used me to turn the situation around. That's what humility can do. Jesus said, pray for your enemies, bless those who curse you. So just remember that. Love your enemies, pray for those who despitefully use you. Be humble. That's the way to go. And God will exalt the humble. He resists the proud but gives grace to the humble. Okay, Proverbs 28, verse 26. Those who trust their own insight are foolish, but anyone who walks in wisdom is safe. You know, if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask from above, and the Lord will give it to him. And it comes down from above, and is easily to be entreated and is humble. So you lack wisdom, you ask God. Isaiah 5:21. What sorrow for those who are wise in their own eyes and think themselves so clever. Mark 9 and verse 35. He sat down, called the 12 disciples over to him, and said, "Whoever wants to be first must take last place and be the servant of everyone else." Galatians 6:3. If you think you are too important to help someone, you are only fooling yourself. You are not that important. Think of that for a minute. James 3 and verse 13. If you are wise and understand God's ways, prove it by living an honourable life, doing good works with the humility that comes from wisdom. So remember, humble yourselves under the mighty power of God, and the right time he will lift you up in honour. That's 1 Peter 5 and verse 6. Be blessed, everyone, with this message.